All right, it's time for another 15-minute Friday edition of the What You Don't Hear podcast. I am joined once again for this 15 minutes by my dear friend, Josh Emerick. Josh, welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm trying to come up with a different intro than "Hey there,"
and
I just had to include it again.
You
though,
hardly do. Yeah. Every time it's just about the same. It's just "Hey there," "Hey, thanks for having me." I think at some point you might have a if you keep doing these throughout all these episodes, right? Every time you're a guest on this podcast, I think at some point we'll listen back and you'll be able to form one whole paragraph of you saying you're excited to be here or something like that, right? It'll start with "Hey there," then it'll go to "Hey there, thanks for having me." Then by the end of it, after like 15 of these 15-minute Fridays, I think you'll have a whole paragraph formed where you'll be like, here's my introduction.
You know how some people have those like weak words that are like,
Yeah.
Gee whiz.
Gee whiz.
Mine is "Hey there."
Yours is "Hey there." Hey there.
Hey there.
Hey there. That's all you can say to greet the folks at home or wherever they're listening from. But hey, whoever you are, thanks for listening wherever you're listening at. This is another 15-minute Friday edition of this podcast. Hopefully wrapping up your week on a positive note, right? We like to share some advice, share some opinions, share some actionable things that you can take into your weekend, whether you're being creative with your weekend, whether you're just going to chill out and do whatever and you just happen to listen to two creative guys talk a bunch on a podcast. We're here for that. That's what we're here for, right?
And guess what? This one can lead to sales.
Making
money.
Whoa, sales and money and all the other cool hashtags you can put in this, because this week's topic is why your client's experience should matter more than anything else. Mm-hmm. And you might hear that and you're like, what in the world do you mean, Ross? Well, in the next 15 to like 25 minutes, we're going to tell you and we're going to explain all that. So, Josh, are you ready?
I am very ready.
All right. The timer begins right now. So here's what we mean by that. I think there are a lot of creatives, a lot of business people, right, who go into client and creative work. They're looking at it from just the money standpoint, right, or just the honestly, let's not shy away from this. They're looking at it from the cool guy standpoint, right? I want to be the cool person with a camera. I want to be the cool creative that has quote unquote clout on the internet. I want to say that I've done a bunch of music videos, or that I've worked with X artists and this artist and whatever, or I've shot commercials for this brand and that brand, when in reality, what they're leaving behind isn't really anything with purpose and or substance, right? They're kind of, in a way, becoming another number in the whole, the whole process, right? They're not really adding much to it. If anything, they're kind of taken away. And that's, in my opinion, and obviously Josh chime in whenever, but in my opinion, I think that's because they're not truly valuing their clients that they're working with, right?
They're also not valuing the whole industry that they're working for.
Yes, yes.
I'll interrupt for a second.
Yep, take it away.
We get passionate about experience.
Mm-hmm.
Our business is built around experience. So we have huge bias in experience. The reason we have that is because it's what's led us to continually working with our clients, working with new clients. People don't simply say your guys' work is dope, or your work is high quality, or your work is in 4K, or you're using an orange camera. They say, we've heard working with you guys is really easy. It's really fun. It's great. That's exactly the way we want to win clients.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we want to attract. This is all about creating memories and shared experiences both with our crew and with our clients.
Yeah.
It's what makes it fun. It's what makes me excited. Like, I like people. I like everything that is around production more than the production itself.
Right.
I get excited when I see other people light up by what we're doing. Not just, man, we're badass. Man, our lighting's dope.
Right.
It's just how we make someone feel.
Yes.
That they trusted us and they're like, this was a great decision.
And so if I can agree with that and add to that from my point of view on that really quick, is, my background comes from marketing and promotions, right, for the music industry. And I think most of this will probably pinpoint a little bit more to the music industry, but it works for commercial clients, works for anything, right?
It's
universal.
This is the model across all of our businesses.
Exactly. But so where I'm going to speak from for a second is the music industry side of things, right? My background is marketing and promotions in the music industry, right? Really focusing in on artist development, right? Really how to grow an artist via visuals, content, strategy, whatever it is you want to call it, right? I get so fired up about an artist having a good experience with us because I'm also, in a way, like how you're saying, I'm looking at the bigger picture. You're looking at what was the experience like, what did they get in result. You're not even like you're looking outside of the production. And so am I in different ways because I'm looking at it not just, is the production going well? Are we on schedule? Like that's my duties a lot, right? I pay attention to a lot of that. But I'm also like, did we just deliver this artist something that truly grows them? Right? And that's what I look at so often. And when we achieve that, that's way more exciting to me. And then when we achieve that with the results of giving them a good experience that then they take and they grow into whatever else, or they take with them elsewhere, or they return to us, or whatever it is, that's just icing on the cake, right? Because not only are we getting to fulfill the parts of things, the specific parts of things that we truly like, but we're actually growing. Yeah, we're growing our company, we're growing our team, we're growing whatever. But there's real value in the work we do with clients in general when we can truly grow them and we can truly develop them, right? So for me, it's, a lot of the campaign work that I do through Bloom Division with artists, right, with bands. I'm okay if I don't have a return customer. And here's why. It's because if I taught them social strategy, where I showed them what the difference is between a good content package and a bad content package is, and then next time, once they work with me, the next time they don't come back to me and they say, hey man, thanks for everything you taught us. That means that they learned, and that means they can now do it on their own and continue to develop themselves on their own.
Yeah.
That means they had a good experience. So I'm not looking at it from the point of view of how much did they pay me? How much can they pay me next time? How much can they pay me the next time? I'm not looking at that. I'm not even looking at the cool visuals that I'm making. I'm not looking at the cool brand package that I made them. We're not looking at the cool music video that we made. Of course, we're stoked on all that stuff. But the major point is, what was the experience that they got from that entire thing? So that's, I think, what we get the most fired up about, is when they really, truly develop something new out of that, right, and grow.
And there's the education point of it that you're doing is like, you
Yes.
don't care about them coming back, but you know that there's going to be a specific thing they're going to come back to you for.
Right.
It's like, okay, you can handle 90% of this. And that's part of like, in a music video, the first time we work with someone, they're learning the whole process of what they need to do to prep. The next time they kind of understand that, and we'll just reinforce that. So that process is not highlighted as much.
Yeah.
So it's like, cool, now we're in the 20% that's really magical. They're really creative. So we got real traction next time.
Yeah.
And maybe they worked with 4 other people in between, and they were prepared to work with those people and maybe save some money, maybe go a little bit bigger. Like either way, it's just like they have the education in the background to know how to execute a lot better because we are focusing on that experience.
And I think where that goes wrong with a lot of people, right, is because we've heard it before, right? An artist will work with us. And again, this is not saying like we're awesome. There's artists somewhere that are probably like, oh yeah, Ross and Josh, don't like working with those guys, whatever, right?
Yeah, for sure.
There's always positives and negatives. But we do get a lot, people will say, wow, like why was doing this production with you guys so much easier and so much more fun than what it was with these other people? And it's not because we're cooler. It's not because we're more talented. It's not because we have cooler gear. It's not because our ideas are great. It's none of that. I think it's truly because we put at the forefront of our goals for the project, it's the client experience. I think we are so worried about making sure that they're having a good time. And I don't just mean having fun. I just mean the entire process, from the nitpicky stuff of like them getting a production book and a call sheet. That means they're going to have a good time knowing what the schedule is for the day and knowing when they show up.
They see into the future. They understand that things are in control.
There's clear communication.
We've controlled things to the degree of like, okay, I can show up and I know what I'm here to do. I know who I'm working with. I know the goals we're working towards.
Right.
It's just taking that time to just digest everything for them.
Yes.
Hey,
yes.
Here's the expectations, guys. Like for us, like that's part of our culture. The experience is really important. Whether that's just you and I on a shoot, you on a shoot, or like a big team of 10, our whole team understands the objectives of the shoot that we're trying to do. Because if we're all hitting those objectives with experience in mind, it makes everyone feel really good. it empowers them, makes them trust other videographers. So we're building a healthier music video industry, if we're talking specifically on that, but a healthier production industry.
Yes.
That's the standard that it should be. It's not about specs as much anymore, because let's be honest, every camera on the market does great work. It's hard to make an image look bad if you have some practical things in place.
Right.
So that's the what. The what is really generic. Everyone's doing a what. I make music videos. I shoot this. I shoot promos, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But why are you doing it?
Yeah.
You know, for us, it's to make artists feel appreciated, to elevate their brands while elevating us. As a DP, there are shots I absolutely want to do. There's lighting I absolutely want to do. But I'm not going to press it unless it aligns with the brand that we're working with. That's self-serving when you're just going after the one thing that you want. It's about making something for everyone.
Yes. And so I think we can kind of shift into a little bit of, you know, let's say there's a creative listening to this, right? Let's say there's a videographer listening to this, or a photographer, or whatever. How maybe could they look at themselves in the mirror and check themselves a little bit on, am I not valuing my client's experience more than anything, right? And there's easy answers to that, I think, right? There's the answer of, well, does your mind immediately go to how much money are they paying me more than anything, more than the idea, more than getting creative, more than what you're truly giving them? I personally think if your mindset is only on getting as much money from your client as you can, no matter what, I think you're kind of going about it the wrong way. And I would say you're not worried about the client experience. And I'll clarify on that. And I think, you know, definitely we both agree on this, but I think if one of us is more stern on it than the other, it's probably me. But for sure, money needs to be there. Yeah. Right? It does.
I think there's three things that have to be discussed very close together.
Yeah.
I know some people are like, I need to know how much money is there first.
Right. It's got to be there.
It's important.
Right.
I know some people are more so like, what's the idea? And is that creative enough for me to do?
Yeah.
For me, there's talking about the budget, there's talking about the money, and there's seeing if we understand each other. So do we kind of jive as people? Does this idea jive with us as people? And does this budget jive with us as people?
You meant budget, idea, and
understanding.
And understanding. Okay, because you said money and budget and then understanding. And I thought you were, okay. See.
So it's just like coming to that understanding, like one, the idea has to fit with us and the budget has to fit with us. But as people, we need to understand each other.
Yes.
You know, and you have to understand me and trust me, and they need to be sure that they can express their needs, their wants, the experience that they want. That's what I mean by this. So again, getting into experience, like, when I know what the idea is and what the budget is, I can kind of design the experience around that. Does this take a crew of 4? Does this take a crew of 2? Do they value that there's more people or that there's more gear there? Some do. Some ideas require more things.
Right.
If we're going to be moving around and focus is a key thing, then I might prioritize having an assistant camera on there to pull focus.
Right.
Because that might be absolutely necessary for us to have the proper things in post-production, especially if post has to move fast.
Yeah.
But I need to know that to design that experience. That's the techie side of experience.
Yeah. And that's where I was leading into when I brought up the money thing, right? When I'm saying, you know, does the money need to be there? Of course. Let's be stern about that. We're not just going to throw things around carelessly, right? We've still got to win too. It's got to be a win-win.
Yeah.
But where it really goes is, do we mesh well creatively, right? Do I as a creative and this person as a client, or people as a client, do we mesh? Do our ideas mesh? Can we actually work well together? That's another aspect that I think a lot of creatives overlook, right? Is they don't value something like a meeting. They don't value something like a real detailed conversation to really do proper pre-production and pre-planning and all that sort of stuff for a project. So then the experience in the end is smooth and gives a good product in the end, right? It's more so just, it's I think so many people look at it from what's the money, and they look at it from I'm being hired for something you want. You are my client. This is a business relationship. Here it is. I get to be cool and make something. You get to pay me. See you later.
And then there's the idea side. So there's putting different artists on different pedestals.
Let's talk about that real quick.
I'm really big on people are people.
Yes.
Just because someone has more clout than the other person does not mean that you need to bow down and be like, I'll do this for free. I'll do
Yeah.
this for cheap.
Right.
Like, at the end of the day, is like, sure, there's a lot of things that put pressure on us for a project to do great. If the people are great, that's the biggest thing. If we
Right.
sit down with someone, we're like, this person deserves an amazing project,
Right.
we're a lot more bought in.
Right.
If the budget is there, it's like, wow, we're being rewarded a budget that really empowers this project. Because we usually pitch like an A, B, and C proposal. So it's like
Right.
the A proposal is usually the big one. And like, if we get that, we're like, okay, this means we have the full crew, we have the full gear, we're being entrusted to elevate everything.
Not only
here.
is the money there, but the trust is there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's the idea being bought into that as well.
Right.
So it's just like, if everything is just meshing together and working, then it's
Yes.
like, and even the song, there are certain songs I've been like, this song is so good. I've thought through the edit. I've really like done my pre-production on this.
Right.
And I visualize this. I see this in my mind.
Right. Right.
You know, so
And it all feeds into not treating the clients differently, right? Whether it's huge $1 million client or $1,000 client or a couple $100 client, you should be focused on the experience you're delivering being equal to all of them across the board. And I think we can pretty bluntly say there are creatives and agencies, groups, whatever you want to call it, who absolutely treat clients differently depending on what the budget is or what what they need or what they don't need. Instead of just like what am I providing? What am I my who I am or my group of whatever our agency, what do we provide? We provide great quality product for anybody, right? And we provide a great experience. Cool. That's what we're going to do. And if you're that, you do that by default. Doesn't matter the budget, doesn't matter the client, doesn't matter the clout that comes with it, doesn't matter the social media following, doesn't matter. You deliver what you can deliver if you really are that, no matter what. I think people like to chameleon pretty often, right? And they just kind of shapeshift into whatever they believe needs to serve the thing at the moment to just get it done. So let's use bands as the example. Local band comes in and they've got X amount of money. There's a lot of creatives that just look at that and they're going to say, they've got X amount of money. Sick. They want that idea? I don't know if that money can do that idea, but whatever. I'll grab whatever I can and we'll make it happen. I get to make a new music video. They pay me. See you later. But then big band from record label, whatever comes along. Then it's, what's your budget? Well, no, we can make whatever we can for that. We'll absolutely do it. We'll make this happen, and I'm going to post about it 100 times on the internet, and I'm going to show this way more care. And you know what? We are kind of stretching budget thin here, but you know what? I'll figure it out. I'll take care of the extra side.
Maybe they
of
don't
things.
even have that conversation either of like, hey, I'm being stressed.
No, they're not going to, and that's kind of what I'm saying is that's how you can treat a client differently, and you shouldn't do that because you're not focused. If you're doing that, I don't care what your excuse is. You're not focused on the client experience because you should be treating big band or local band or big company or little company, whatever.
Fairly.
You should be treating them fairly and equally. It doesn't matter because, again, I'll say it one more time just to clarify because this is something that we really, really focus on. Sometimes it's come back to bite us, honestly, but we focus on it so much. The budget doesn't matter. It's the experience and what we're truly trying to create, right? Yes, the money needs to be there, right? And that totally, again, has come back to bite us because we went too hard with too little, right? Which is fine. It happens. But that's because we're not treating anything differently. Just because a small business comes to us and says we only have X amount, yes, we're going to work within those boundaries creatively. But we're also not going to be like, you only have that amount and that's all you are. Well, I want to work with Nike and I'm going to treat them way differently than I treat you. Yeah, sure. Pay me and get out of here. I don't care.
Well, that plays into the long game. So we're always thinking ahead of like, how does this impact us down the road? So I said, I'm going to teach you guys how to make money at the beginning of this.
Right.
Experience leads to word of mouth advertising. I want someone who walks away from our projects to say, working with these guys was unique because of the way they made me feel, the way they made the experience work, how easy and fun it was. One, they're going to probably come back and work with us again. Even if that experience hurt our business a little bit, stretched us a little thin, I'm looking at the long game. We're looking at the long game. Because if they trust us, we get awarded their business again, and we clear some things up, and we know how we can work together better. So, and with that, a good experience leads to a good recommendation.
Yeah.
Which builds this snowball effect of work and work and work and work.
Right.
So often people ask, how do you get these projects? How do you get those projects? It's by putting that experience first. We're an experience company. That's at the forefront.
Yes.
Anything that we're doing is aligned around the experience we create for our clients. That's what dictates a project for us.
Right. Right.
How we create that experience. So getting them on the same page that they want to work in the type of culture we create.
Yes. Yes. It's feeding into the positive side of what a client and creative culture can be, right? Mm-hmm. Feeding into the positive side of that relationship. Don't just take them as numbers. Don't just take them as, whatever. Again, you said it best, and I think we can kind of wrap up on that, is that shift your focus to thinking long-term with client relationships and how you can get more word of mouth and how you can get all that sort of stuff rather than thinking short-term. Mm-hmm. So, yes, are we looking at, quote-unquote short-term of we get this project booked, we get the pay in, cool, we've got this budget, we've got this stuff clear, we made a cool new project, we get to post about it, we're stoked, we get to grow. But we're also focused, again, on the artist side, the artist development side. Where is this really leading them? And are they going to give us a word of mouth recommendation because of how much we cared to other people? And then cool, we then in turn get more business and we get them as a return customer. Those are the secrets of how you can make more money doing this sort of stuff. I truly believe, and I know you do too, that if you put the client experience first, think long-term in your business in general, not short-term. Do not think and settle on every single month, I want to make an extra $200 or $2,000 this month. Sure, I'll take that project on. I don't care. After that, I'm never going to talk to you again, but you gave me $2,000 right now. You're probably not leaving a good lasting impression. You got $2,000 extra dollars in your bank account, and that's dope, and that's fun, right? We all need that.
But it's super short-term.
So shift your mindset into a more long-term thinking,
and
right?
Start to think about the experience you want to create. It doesn't have to be the same as us. We're very art direction heavy. Mm-hmm. That's something that we're spending a lot of time on that. We're not saying everyone has to do that.
No, yeah.
But what we are saying is, don't suddenly do some generic videos and rip some people off, and then suddenly when someone cool comes along, you're going to be like, I'm going to be a real director now.
Yeah.
That's inauthentic.
Yes, totally.
That's not fair.
Yep.
And that just creates a bad reputation around the work that we do.
Yeah.
We all want to do good work. Let's just think about how we're doing it.
Yep. And regardless of what you think, whatever way you can spin it, let's leave on this. I think that creatives that are doing those sorts of things, and I'm going to steal it from you, when they're working inauthentically, right? Whether they know they are or not, and this is when this is the look in the mirror and do the checklist kind of thing. See if you're doing these things. If you're working inauthentically, you are not providing a greater service into your industry or into your clientele base or into anybody else who's doing it, right? You are taking away. Mm-hmm. You're taking away business, you're taking away energy, you're taking away creativity, regardless of how cool and creative you think you are with that new camera you just got. If you are working inauthentically and you're not focused on the client experience being a positive one, you are, in fact, hurting whatever industry you're working in. And I believe that to be fact. Mm-hmm. We end on that?
Yeah, we end on that.
We end on some hard-hitting advice and opinion. I guess that's more opinion than it is advice. So that's just my opinion. Yeah. But hey, that's what this podcast is made of, right? It's made of stories that you don't hear. It's made of opinions that you get to hear if you choose to, I suppose. But we're not going to sit here and act like we know everything, right?
We're learning more and more every project, every day.
Yep. Every single new thing that we do is a new learning experience. And I think that if everybody looked at things that way, everything would end up in a lot more positive way, right? Mm-hmm. Don't sit there and think you know it all, because we definitely don't. Might have just sounded like it for 20 minutes, but I assure you, we're just fired up about this because we are truly passionate about this stuff, right? And we just want to see everybody grow. That's the point of these 50-Minute Fridays. So if you want to talk to us more about growth, you want to talk to us about getting more clients and making more money, you can talk to us around the internet. You can hit up the podcast and follow the podcast at WYDH Pod. Rate, review, subscribe on iTunes, all those good things. Josh, where can the people find you and talk to you on the internet?
IG at JM Emerick.
J. Emerick, and you can find me and talk to me at Who's Ross Theisen on Instagram. I'm always open for a chat, and so is Josh. You know what? Even if you want to chat and you're creative and you think you've been called out for this, you know what? I don't really. We didn't even say any names. I think you're pointing the finger at yourself, right?
Yep.
What is the thing?
You're looking in the mirror.
What is the thing when you point a finger? You've got 3 more pointing back at you. Is that right?
Is that what? Oh,
thumb doesn't count. Yeah, you see
I never
that?
heard that actually.
Boom! There it is. Josh just learned something along with you on this last episode of the 15-Minute Fridays. This has been another episode of the What You Don't Hear podcast. Thanks for listening.